Head of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, is not happy. He doesn't like the headlines. His take on today's earnings call, right? No irony there. It's on an earnings call that he's talking about this, is all part of an effort to make the company look bad, he says. Listen.
Good faith criticism helps us get better. But my view is that what we are seeing is a coordinated effort to selectively use leaked documents to paint a false picture of our company. The reality is that we have an open culture where we encourage discussion and research about our work so we can make progress on many complex issues that are not specific to just us.
Now, look, I doubt he'll take the invitation, but I'd love him to come on the show and look, let's just have a frank conversation about this, okay? The problem is obvious. My suspicion is it's been obvious to Facebook much longer than it's been obvious to the rest of us because they understand their capabilities in a way that our government never will, okay? Why hasn't he fixed this? Is it really just about what makes you money and that the provocative things are what works for you? I mean, you want to talk frank, you want to be upset, do it. Is the fix anywhere close in our Congress? Senate Judiciary Committee member, Senator Amy Klobuchar. She's done the homework, she understands the law, she understands policy, and she's understood the need for change here for a long time. It's good to see you, Senator.
Thanks, Chris. That's just what I was thinking as I heard him speak at the earnings meeting, and that is that I've been taking this on long before there were any documents out there, and that's because any parent, anyone that's interested in our democracy, no matter what party they're part of, you start to see the harm. You start to see the injury. You start to see the fact that they are putting profit, and that is based on polarized and algorithms that promote polarized speech and angry speech. They put that in front of the safety of this nation. That's a fact. I would suggest reading the book The Ugly Truth by two New York Times reporters. It really sums it all up.
So we know the problem. Do you believe there is the will in government these days to fix it?
Yes, it's not going to be easy. There are lobbyists around every corner. The tech industry has hired well over 300 lobbyists, and I noted that at the whistleblower hearing, is that my colleagues have to get through this. They're going to hear from lobbyists, but they've got to look at the facts and listen to their constituents, like I listened to 7 moms and dads who talked about desperately trying to keep their kids in a safe place so they can grow up without being exposed to accounts like how to be perfect or how to be thin, or some of these things that they get exposed to when they just ask, or someone who asked about doing a school report on vaping and then started getting ads for vaping equipment. That's a fact. And this shouldn't be happening to young kids. So that's part of it. The other part of it is what was just revealed today in the New York Times and elsewhere, and of course a lot of reporting from the Wall Street Journal, CNN on all of this, is what this did to our democracy. The fact that Mark Zuckerberg claimed before Congress that 94% of this content was down, when people within his own company's researchers are now saying it's 5%. When they put up a Facebook account to see what will happen, the researchers themselves of a woman from North Carolina who simply says she's a fan of Melania Trump, okay, but then she starts getting QAnon content. We've all known this. Anyone that has Facebook accounts in politics or the news or the like know this, but it's literally hurting people and hurting our democracy.
So the conceptual pushback is free speech, and your brothers and sisters on the right will say, you just want them to censor them more. That's what this is all about for the left. What is the balance for you between rights and responsibility?
Very good point. And you want to have free speech, right? But there is a difference between someone, let's say, in a crowded movie theater yelling fire. That is not free speech, right? That is not protected speech. But guess what? This is the trick of their algorithms. It would be like a multiplex theater put speakers in every one of their theaters and broadcast it. They would be liable for that. So you've got algorithms that we need to have transparency, and we also need to make sure researchers can access them. And then we have to look at the liability provisions for that. Second big bucket of things, privacy laws. The fact that we don't have a federal privacy law has very much hindered us, and it's one of the reasons Facebook and other platforms make so much money off Americans compared to other countries, because there's no rules of the road for privacy. And finally, what was I know has been the subject before of some discussions with you and me and others, competition policy and trying to allow the marketplace to develop alternatives with new bells and whistles. We're never going to know what those bells and whistles are when, in the words of Mark Zuckerberg in an email, he would rather buy than compete. You don't develop the competitive products that might protect kids or may do something about vaccine misinformation if they buy everything in sight and our government allows them to do that. The end must come to that, and that means making our laws more sophisticated and investing in our agencies and putting, as Joe Biden is doing, people in charge that's going to take this on in a serious way.
I mean, the big challenge will be, any kind of collective political will, obviously, but then you're going to have to figure out how to enforce it. I mean, this is, I remember you and I mean, I'm much older than you are, Senator, but, we remember when the conversation was about stocks and securities and how can we really regulate trading? It's so complicated. That was Stone Age compared to understanding what these people are doing. But look, you're fighting the good fight. You're doing the work of the people, and we'll stay on it, Senator. You're welcome back.
And I'll note that my bill has 11 different senators on it, and it includes people like Chuck Grassley, Dick Durbin, Lindsey Graham, and Cory Booker, and Mark Warner. We have half Democrats, half Republicans. There's starting to be bipartisan work in this area, and that's really important to get this done.
Good luck.
Okay.